everybody, and welcome to the 30-second Positively Disney phone-in show. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome to my Facebook people and my Twitch people out there. I am so excited about this show. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I'm Kimberly Bouchard, the author of the best-selling series Positively Disney, and I love the people like you guys and the people that I get to meet to write about all kinds of stories. And you will meet one of these people today, a little bit later on in the show. Kevin-John, Disney artist, lovely human being, will be joining me, and we will be chatting live tonight with you. And, I'm just so excited. There's so many things that have gone on and that are coming up that I will let you know about as we go on. I just want to first welcome Melanie and Beth and Donna Joe and all of you guys out there. Thank you again for joining me. Did you guys hear the intro music? I'm really happy that I actually have music. I'm still growing. And if you guys can hang on for a couple of minutes at the end, you will also hear the outro music titled Disney Safari. And it's really, really uplifting. I absolutely love it. And a big hello to Regina. I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly. Sorry. At any rate, yesterday was National Dog Day, and I had to be reminded by my daughter, and we have a new addition to our family, which was very coincidental that we got the little one on National Dog Day, and I'm going to be introducing this little one at the end of the show. So I'm very excited, but something that was very odd that happened. I don't know why these things happen, but life happens and you keep going. But a couple of hours before we went to pick up the little one, I actually ended up with 5 staples in my head. I was in my shed trying to get a smaller size crate for the pup because I have this massive one, and I put up a shelf just freestanding, turned around, and it bonked me on the head. So I had to rush to get it taken care of. And I'll tell you, ladies, with long hair, it is very difficult to shower and clean your hair with 5 staples in your head. So I will be very, very glad to get those out in about 10 days' time. Anyways, let's get on with it. You guys all know that we had a contest, and this is the Donald Duck that I absolutely love by Patrick Block, that I asked you guys to see if you could put a comment about what he was thinking. And I have a bowl here with all your comments. I'm hoping you can see with the camera, you can see all of the ones in here. I had so much fun with this. I loved watching your comments, and thank you so much for sharing those. And some of the comments were kind of about Donald losing his feather or losing his pants, which I thought was, a great expression on his face. Another one, there was kind of a back to school theme. Of course, it's that time of year. And one of them was to do with the fact that he was thinking about his nephews going back to school. He was very happy about that. And there was another nod to his nephews and him thinking that he was going to be an uncle. So he was a little, somebody thought he would be surprised about that. Another, actually, several of you guys had him thinking about his lady love, Daisy. And there was also a kind of a tug of war between Mickey and Donald Duck. And it was quite fun to see the comments with that. And then, of course, there were food comments about ice cream to hot pumpkin cider. We're kind of starting to go into that season on this end, as well as Irish potatoes, which I was quite surprised about. Anyways, I wanted to make it all fair. All of you guys that took the effort to put your names in here. I'm going to draw for the 2 packages that I had shown you last week. The first one being the frozen school package, and the second one being the cars package, either for yourself or for a little one that you know might like this for school. So the first person that is going to get the frozen one, I'm going to have my tech guy next to me pick a name. Let's see. And I'm going to see about reading it aloud to you. And it's actually, I almost need my glasses. So Mike Flynn wins the Cars kit. It says, Donald is thinking, gulp, I'm going to be an uncle. So congratulations to Mike Flynn, who gets the Cars package, and I will be letting you know and getting your particulars as far as your addresses and that after the show. Before I go on, welcome to Rick and Father George and Jacqueline. Thank you for joining me tonight. The next drawing will be for the frozen package. So again, my tech guy next to me, I don't know if you can see his hand, but I'm going to just take the one from him, and the frozen one goes to Yesenia McCoy. That castle sure is beautiful, and I don't know about you, but I think Donald has definitely got the expressions for the two that I drew. So thank you guys again, everybody, for putting your name and your a comment for Donald, and I will get this to our folks as well this week. Let's move on. So guys, you know, I am truly blessed to meet so many good people out there. I am so lucky I get to meet the good people. And it's you guys, you Disney fans, you guests, you know, even though I can't maybe meet you one-on-one, it is awesome to be able to interact with you on the show. And as I said before, my books are about the stories of you guys, fans, guests, cast members, Disney artists all over the world. And I had a very exceptional meeting with my special guest and my friend, Kevin-John, a couple of years ago. His story is titled The Art of Living, and it's an absolutely powerful story about him and his life as an artist. That's in book 2 of the Disney series. And unbeknownst to me, my husband, who's always looking for gifts, you know, for me, Disney related gifts, contacted Kevin-John, and he commissioned a painting for me. And he wanted to incorporate the things that meant a lot to me and things that I liked. And it's in the back behind me, and I'm actually going to just have my tech guy take it down so you can have a better view of it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but my favorite, I do love the beach. I do love Donald Duck, and he is on the beach reading my book. And this was a Christmas present from my husband that Kevin-John and him worked on quietly behind the scenes. And it was really funny because we had gone to Walt Disney World. I think it must have been, it's just before Christmas. And I had somehow found out that Kevin-John was on property somewhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, we should probably meet or connect. You know, this is a coincidence and things like that. And he's like, oh, he goes, you know, he apologized. He wasn't available. Well, the next day, we were in Epcot. We had our very first food experience at the grill. I can't remember, at the Japanese pavilion. It was absolutely lovely. My husband had been trying to get our family there for years, and we finally went. And oh my goodness, who should show up but Kevin-John and his lovely girlfriend Buffy. And I didn't even know about the painting at all at this point. And I just thought it was just so fun. What a lovely surprise to meet them. And we had a lovely dinner. And then Kevin-John presented me with the painting that Jacques had commissioned for me, and the tears flowed. I was so shocked, and he is an absolutely amazing human being, and I am so blessed to know him. And we are going to chat with Kevin John. We're going to get him on the line right away. And my son is just dialing him. And if you have any comments or questions while I'm chatting with him, I will try to answer them as we go along. So I'm going to just see if we've got him. Phone's ringing. Good sign. Here we go.
Kimberly.
Hi, Kevin-John. Welcome to the Positively Disney Phone-In Show. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I just told the folks that what a lovely human being you are. And I'm just, I feel so blessed to know you and very excited to chat with you tonight as other people are excited to hear from you. So I just have to ask, how long actually has it been since you've been painting?
Oh, wow. Painting only since 2003.
Oh,
Creating art, I come from a background of drawing.
yeah.
That's where my strength always was. And, I've been doing that, oh gosh, since I was probably 5,
Okay.
professionally since I was 17.
Oh,
Um, so we're now 31 years into a professional career. So
that is outstanding because, it's really neat how something in your childhood could grow to be so fantastic to develop and nurtured along the way. But I know that it wasn't always easy to pursue for sure.
sure, Kimberly, like anything else worth having, nothing worth having comes easy.
Yeah.
I think there's always some sort of a price to pay or a test to pass, a hardship to endure, an uphill climb. Anytime there's something of value on the other side of that,
Yeah.
I think it's just the universe's way of, kind of testing us to see if we're really worthy and we really want it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. So I
Yeah.
embrace all of um, the struggles early in my career,
Yeah.
and I call them struggles. But my gosh, I mean, if you look back at it, and start telling the stories, there would be a lot of artists that would love to have the opportunity to have the struggles and the climb that I have. I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
So I never complain about any of the struggles, the failures, the hard times.
Yeah.
They all led, to this,
Right.
to this point where I'm at right now.
Absolutely. And it's such an exciting time. I mean, I've been following you for the last few years as well as many, many other folks, and so excited for you and what's coming down the pipe. And, I love how you share with everybody your concept of a piece and show how it comes together because we don't get that opportunity. We just see the finished product, right? Or you might, see the
Yeah.
beginning idea and then the finish, but it is it's breathtaking really to see this come to life. How do you come up with your ideas, Kevin-John?
Well, that I rely on a lot of personal experiences, and I think as all artists do. But I think that I not only use that when creating the art itself and developing the concept sketches and the working process, but also in the way that I think about how to promote and communicate with the art. If
Mm,
no one ever sees the art, No one's ever going to buy it. No one's ever going to be able to enjoy it, and you're going to be out of a career really quick. So, one of the things, I'm from the MTV generation.
Yeah.
I
Me
I
too.
was in I was it was just before high school, before MTV clicked on its power for the first time, and I was immediately riveted. And what MTV provided for us beyond exposing, my generation to new music and to new performers was the access and the behind the scenes look, the behind the scenes peek at these artists, at their process. Sometimes it was in studio footage. Sometimes they were, documentaries. Sometimes it was, one-on-one interviews, and oftentimes it was concert as well. And it was such a different, more personal, intimate experience that we would have as fans, to be able to see our favorite artists in that regard, in that light, and also it was a different way of consuming their art form, their music, and not always was it perfect. It wasn't fine-tuned. Oftentimes it was raw and gritty, and maybe didn't sound exactly like it did on that vinyl album. And I fell in love with that process. So now with, the advent of social media, back around, I'm going back, probably 15 years now, that I've been using social media. It was an opportunity as an artist for me to give that intimate look into my studio, into my life, into my working process, give that intimate look to my fans.
Yeah.
And so I really stole a little bit of what I thought MTV and the like did very well, and tried to co-opt it for my fan base. And I find that it's gotten great response. I hear that probably more than anything, is that people love watching the product develop.
Yeah.
It's one thing to see that final piece of art on the wall. It's one thing to download that MP3 of that your favorite song and listen to it, unmolested, I should say, without flaw. But it's also something to watch that music be created, and that's that's what I love to give to my fans and the folks that collect my art.
Yeah, well, I mean, I enjoy that all the time, and it's hard to keep up with you because you just have so much going on, and it's absolutely fantastic. I was just wondering what this could be a tricky question, but do you have a favorite piece or a couple of favorite pieces or something that stands out in your mind? That's a hard one. I know, because I get asked, do you have a favorite story? I'm like, oh my word, seriously, I have to pick one,
Yeah, and it really isn't, for me, it's not that difficult.
Okay.
Most of the time, the answer is twofold. My favorite piece is usually the piece that I just finished. Because it's the most contemporary example of where my talent level lies at the moment. I often talk about that is part of my working process as an artist. I am always struggling to improve. That's why you don't see one standard Kevin-John style over the last 31 years, or even the last 5 years. There are artists out there that their very comfortable with finding a style that works, and then they stay with that. And everything that they illustrate or paint is in that same style.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For me, I, my loose description of my style is, a little bit of a stylized realism.
Right.
Yeah. However, it looks very different today than what it did 2 years ago. And it certainly looks a lot different than what it did 25 years ago.
Right.
Every time I work on a piece, I want to improve. Yeah. And so oftentimes my favorite piece is the last piece that I just finished.
Yeah.
I do have a favorite Disney piece though.
Oh.
And if I were to put 3 or 4 pieces down in front of someone from my portfolio, as an example of what my work is like, a prospective client or whatever, it is the Tower of Terror bellhop painting.
Oh yeah, love it, love that one.
Thank you.
Love it.
That's a particularly special piece for me.
Okay. And it is, something that I know that you do is you do commission paintings for everybody. And I wanted to just share something because you guys out there listening, this is what this kind of man is. Not as he only a fantastic artist, but he's a fantastic human being. And there was somebody that had bought an original, and I'm trying to remember, it's, who I'm talking about, Cassie's engagement, and I can't remember their original painting they bought from you. Do you remember which painting they bought?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think what you're referencing is the painting that I did of the Hatbox Ghost for Disney.
That's right. That's right.
They purchased that original painting, and then John, the
boyfriend at the time,
husband, the boyfriend at the time, commissioned an original painting of Alice Cooper,
right,
from one of their favorite videos
right,
of kind of like their song.
Yeah.
And it was a moment in that video that really, touched them. They loved it. Yeah. And so I recreated that screenshot, so to speak, that frame of film in the video. I recreated it as a fine art painting.
Right.
And then through some contacts, he had that autographed by Alice Cooper.
Right.
And Alice was very, very gracious. He had, I guess, really great things to say about the painting, and took photos with it. I've got a photo of him with my painting. It's really kind of cool.
That's right.
So that was his. This was John's engagement gift,
right,
to Cassie in lieu of a $4,000 ring. He spent the money on a piece of art, and I thought that was just fantastic.
Wasn't it cool? And for all you guys listening, Kevin-John actually hand delivered it, but poor John wasn't sure when he was going to pop the question. So Kevin-John spent a lot of time in the parks carrying this painting on several rides. And I'm thinking that must have been hilarious and stressful all at the same time, for crying out loud.
It was.
I could just imagine you just trying to protect this beautiful painting and riding on the various things that, all over the park.
I know. John was kind of, he was kind of nervous, I think.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, it's, what, I just think like that was just so wonderful of you to, just a really good sport. And then you took it back with you again, so they didn't have to carry it around the rest of their evening together. And I just thought that was such a hoot to hear what you did for them. And so guys, this is the kind of guy Kevin-John is. He is just, he'll go to bat for you and make sure that his paintings are delivered safely to you, whether you are in the park or whether he is mailing them to you. Kevin John, I know that you are a local, which is so cool to be a local. And I just wanted to, say, because there's a lot of budding artists out there. Do you have
Yes.
any words of advice for them, like from your experiences? It just, it's hard to summarize 31 years, but
Yeah.
is there something that you would like to share with us and with these budding artists that
Sure.
pearls of wisdom?
Sure. Well, anyone that knows my story knows that this career is something that I pursued relatively early in my life. By the time I hit uh, my sophomore year of high school, I knew that being a professional artist in some regard was it was definitely the way that I wanted to make a living.
Mm.
Whether that be an art teacher or back then working for an advertising agency, or again, I was still exploring different avenues that would become my career, but whatever it was, I knew that this thing that was a part of me that has always been there, and that I was not certainly able to shake. Needed lots of hard work and nurturing, but if given the choice, it was the only thing that I was anxious to do with my life,
Right.
and that's for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if when asked advice from artists that are trying to make this a career, first of all, I always tell them that nothing beats hard work. That this is something that you have to pursue with everything that you have. Oftentimes, you are going to have to sacrifice and forego a lot of other things that your contemporaries are going to be doing. When everyone, when I graduated from high school and all my friends were, spending that summer at the beach and at parties, I was working on my third piece to go into production for sale in art galleries.
Oh,
I
wow.
spent my summer work doing that,
Right.
hundreds of hours. When everyone that I knew was graduating from college and getting into their first new jobs, I was, darn near starving, trying to figure out a way to continue to push this forward while still, keeping, some semblance of a roof over my head and,
Right.
and food on my table.
Yeah.
When everyone was, getting married and having children, that wasn't in the cards for me because, my dedication was 100% to my career, not to raising a family.
Right.
And so there are sacrifices that I've made along the way. And you're going to have to make a choice. What do you really want? Because this is rarefied air that we, as professional artists, fly in. I always say you can't close your eyes and throw a rock in any odd direction without hitting someone that is an artist.
Yeah.
That either considers himself an artist or wants to be an artist, and that can be any type of art form. Everything
Right.
from creating music to being an author to being a chef in the kitchen. These are all art forms. Even professional athletes, I see that as a talent-driven career, but also a type of an art form.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the percentages, and I use professional football as a really good example because a lot of people understand that.
Mm-hmm.
There's 32 teams. There's 50 in the National Football League, people that are actually getting paid to play football and paid a living wage.
Mm-hmm.
There are 32 NFL teams. Each team has 53 players.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math.
Yeah.
That is the entirety of football players in the world that are actually being paid to play that game.
Play football.
Yeah, I know there's the CFL and there's minor league football and all that sort of thing. But I'm talking about
the big time,
the big time.
Right.
top of the crop.
Right.
Making a living where they're never going to have to worry about their next job.
Right.
And when you think of the amount of kids that you knew growing up that played football, just in your neighborhood, just in your school, and then those numbers are, dwindled more and more and more. So out of, the entire planet, there's,
it's amazing.
32 teams of 50 some guys that are actually afforded the opportunity to do that. And I see it. I see someone that has a career as a professional artist in that same regard.
Right.
So you have to go at that with that in mind.
Right.
That knowing that your chances are going to be extremely rare. However, if you have talent, dedication, and above all, a work ethic beyond everyone else's, that just maybe with the right stars crossing at the right time, you can make the breakthrough.
Yeah.
I will also say that there's a lot of beautiful art created by people that are not career professional artists as well.
Of course, yeah.
So, I look at it as a career, but there are a lot of people that gain a lot of enjoyment through, crafting on the weekends.
Yeah.
So it really just all depends. So advice is kind of, advice can be very specific to, well, what exactly are you looking to accomplish? If you want to be a Disney artist, then, you have to ask me specifically about that. What does it take to be a Disney artist? And for me, it was not trying to be a Disney artist. For me, it was trying to build my own company, my own brand to a point where the big boys like the Mouse or like Lucasfilm or like the producers of Evil Genius or Topps Trading Cards or Beckett Sports Magazine or ESPN or the over 300 pro athletes that I've created artwork for, they build up my brand to a point where they have to take notice of me.
Right.
That's the way to go about doing it, I think.
Okay.
I never, as my story goes, I never submitted to Disney. I am much more interested in getting my artwork to a point and promote it and show it to enough of the right people that those folks then come calling.
Right. Exactly.
And those are my major pieces of advice.
Yeah.
And for little young artists, don't listen to any of the negativity. When you're a small child and somebody's trying to keep you in a box, and telling you how to dress and how to act and what type of person they want you to be and who you should listen to and color within the lines, I say color outside the lines. Okay. There's a lot of fun that can be had coloring outside of the lines of those coloring books.
Yeah.
And that way in life too. Find what and who you personally are comfortable with being.
Yeah.
And then be that person.
Yeah.
Regardless of what, the people in your circle will tell you. Because when it all comes down to it, it's you live with yourself at the end of the day. You look at yourself in the mirror. Those other people, even as much of an influence as you think they might have on you, when it all comes down to it, they do not. It all comes down to you, have you, and you alone. And you've got to make yourself happy and make your own dreams come true, not try and live up to what others feel that you should do.
Right. And believe in yourself and go that path. You know, you have had so many successes in so many areas. Is there one particular point, Kevin-John, that you felt, or that moment that you realized, hey, I've made it?
That is, given the week that I have had, that is a very interesting question.
Okay.
If you would have asked me that question a week ago, I would have said no, there hasn't been. Because from the time I was 17, when I started creating my artwork professionally, and maybe even before that, I've heard that term, you've made it.
Okay.
What exactly does that mean? Does that mean you've made it financially? You've made it recognition-wise? Your talent has gotten to a place where it should be. What exactly? It always was interesting to me what that term meant to people.
Right.
People would say to me, "I'm buying your artwork now." When I was still in high school, "I'm buying your artwork now because someday you'll make it and it'll be worth a lot of money. Or someday, if you make it, it'll be worth something." And nobody knows you now, but someday, maybe if you make it, I can say I knew you when. When I was, in high school, again, my first pieces were purchased by galleries back home in Erie, Pennsylvania, and sold. And I hadn't graduated from high school yet, and so people would say to me then, "Oh man, you've actually made it." And then the next thing happened, and then people would come to me and say, "Oh man, you've been at this for 2 or 3 years, and you finally made it." And then 10 years goes by, and I start doing all of this work for pro sports and football players and football teams, and they're calling me and commissioning art, and people are saying, "Oh wow, you finally made it." And then. And and then the next thing happened, and the next thing happened. And I try and reach a new goal, not only every month or every year, but literally every week. I want to accomplish some new major, I just say, for the lack of a better word, deal.
Right.
Every week. That is my goal. And if Saturday comes and I haven't done that, then I look at that week as maybe not the best week I've had.
Okay.
So there's always new things. So
that's a hard. I understand. There are varied levels of beta, right?
Yeah. So this whole climb, the feeling that I've reached the mountaintop has been happening since I was 17.
Right.
I certainly could have stopped and been satisfied with selling my artwork in Erie, Pennsylvania, to the resort community, to the folks vacationing, and they want to take back pieces of
souvenir kind of
souvenirs, that sort of thing. People decorate their homes and offices with points of interest and historical drawings of historical locations in my hometown and those types of things. I could have been satisfied and done that for a long time, but I wanted more. As soon as I sold that first piece out of a gallery, I wanted more. What's next? So with almost every week, for 31 years, it's been like, okay, I did this. That's great. But what's next?
Right.
How are we going to double this? How are we going to plus this?
Right.
How are we going to climb higher? Well, I have to say that was this particular week is the first week in my lifetime that I have felt that I have actually reached the plateau of that mountain.
Oh,
and now I get to
chills.
I get to hang out on the top of this mountain now for the next 25 years or 30 years, and explore and really allow my artwork to flourish, and I get to enjoy it for the first time in my life. And you would think that certainly when I received a call from Disney with their interest in signing me, that was 6 years ago, you would think that and on most people's dartboard, that would be their bullseye. That would be their ultimate. And my gosh, let me tell you, my contract with Disney it is the most incredible honor. However, last week, I get the call from Disney Lucasfilm, and they want me to create Star Wars art.
My gosh! Oh my gosh! So congratulations! My word!
Thank you. So these two entities now, Disney and Lucasfilm, they were the two biggest influences in my life since I was old enough to understand, words coming off a TV screen. And some of my first drawings were dinosaurs, Batman, and Star Wars. And I'm the Star Wars generation. I was in third grade in 1977. And I can remember to this day the first Star Wars drawing that I attempted. It was, to say that Star Wars was an enormous part of my life is an understatement.
Right.
It was my refuge. It was where I escaped the bullying in school and the frustrations with my artwork. It was the place that I escaped my insecurities. It was a place where I escaped my parents. It was a place where I could go and live with these little, 3.5-inch plastic toys and read the books and the comic books and watch the film and draw pictures of it.
Gosh.
And so that really has always been the Super Bowl for me.
Right.
Was getting to be able to create art for Lucasfilm. However, what I promised myself I wasn't going to do, I wasn't going to submit. I wasn't going to ask them. I wanted to wait until they came to me. And last week, that phone call came.
Oh my gosh, I feel like crying because I know your story, and it's such an amazing story of perseverance and determination and sweat and blood and tears. I know this. And if anybody wants to see this story of Kevin-John's, it's in the second book. And well done. Well done. Like, that's so, gosh, it's so awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's,
wow.
It is, again, for the first time in my life, and I'll be 50 years old in February. I feel comfortable with who I am and where I am.
Yeah.
I no longer, I don't feel like any longer do I have to prove through my art who I am or what I'm able to accomplish. That the two largest IP holders in the world, Disney and Lucasfilm, the Star Wars brand, which is now almost one and the same.
Right.
They both have recognized my art as something that they would love to have represent their intellectual properties, and that's You know,
So
you put
awesome.
that along with some of the other things. I think at this point I can breathe a little bit
Yeah.
and relax. So
Awesome.
I guess there's another there's another uh, tale for uh, young artists is that, you know, my call from Disney happened 25 years after I had started my professional career.
Yeah. Amazing.
And this one from Lucasfilm, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And if you rewind the clock to 1977, I mean, what are we looking at? 40 years
Yeah.
that I have been working towards that.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing.
if your painting doesn't sell this weekend at the local craft fair, it ain't the end of the world, sister.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to work harder and keep at it. It just means the right eyes haven't seen your work,
Right.
and you haven't gotten your work to the right level yet.
Oh.
But it can happen, and I'm here to tell you that it can happen.
Oh, Kevin-John, you know, you are such an inspiration, truly. You really are. And, you know, as I said to people, that you're not only an amazing artist, but you're a wonderful human being. And it couldn't have happened to somebody more deserving, truly. You know,
Thank you, Kimberly.
I know that you are going to be in the parks at the Food and Wine Festival. And unfortunately, we won't be there this time at that time. But I was wondering if you are able to share with us how we might be able to see you there. Are you able to at this point yet?
Sure.
Or okay.
Well, I can tell you, I can say this, and only because I'm waiting for Disney to release the actual event dates and announcement, which literally could come at any minute now, because the festival starts in 2 days.
Right. Yeah.
So I have been honored by Disney with them asking me to create the signature art for the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival for this year.
Wow.
The Food and Wine Festival, for those who don't know, is the largest and most exciting, in my opinion, festival that Disney does all year long. It begins here on September 30th, and I think
August 30th, right? August 30th.
August.
Yeah.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I keep saying September.
Yeah.
August 30th, and it lasts all the way through, I think, November 15th or 12th, somewhere around there. So I created the signature art, which will be available as a lithograph and as a as a framed and signed and numbered limited edition Jaclay.
Okay.
I will have about 30 different signing events at the festival throughout that time period. You're going to be able to find me in the festival center and at the Art of Disney gallery, both in Epcot.
Okay.
Now, what you'll want to do is over the next couple of days, you'll want to go to kevinjohn.com, kevin-john.com, and you'll be able to go to the events page, and that's where we will post the schedule for my appearances. And again, as soon as Disney releases it on their website, it'll be there as well. But if you go to kevin-john.com, that's where you should be going anyways. Everyone should be going.
That was going to be my next thing. Where can people reach you if they want to reach you?
Yeah.
So perfect. And you said the two places in Epcot. So the gallery by the ball, right? By Spaceship Earth, yeah.
By Spaceship Earth, correct, yeah.
And then the second one you said within the festival. So that is in the back part of where the World Showcase is, correct?
No. The festival center is, as you enter the park, it's going to be to your strong left, and it's back in the Wonders of Life Pavilion.
Okay.
People will know the Ellen DeGeneres attraction was back there in that area as well.
Okay.
So the festival center is in that next pavilion. Again, you just walk in and ask any cast member where the festival pavilion is, and they'll point you to it.
Okay. And I imagine they'll have a lot of signs and things of that nature as well. Yeah. I would think
hope
so.
so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So before you guys head to have a drink or a appetizer, whatever, make sure you stop off to your left to say hello to Kevin-John and introduce yourselves. And if you were listening to the podcast tonight, mention that to him, and give him a hug for me, because I won't be able to be there this year. And something that I absolutely love, the Food and Wine Festival. And I remember it always started later in the fall, and we're never there later in the fall. We're always there, August, beginning of September, and except for this year. And it's so wonderful that they have expanded that festival. I mean, how wonderful is that? And 30 different days you will be there?
30 different signing events.
Okay, so it could be over a little while more than that. Okay.
Yeah, I think I have. Again, I can't really get into it. So I don't want to release the dates about Disney. Again, you'll be able to find those dates on Kevin-John.com.
Perfect. And you might need a bionic arm by the time this event is over. That's a lot of signing in that, but it must be just kind of the icing on the cake where you actually get to meet the folks that are buying your art, I would imagine.
It really is wonderful. I always say it's just a tremendous honor that someone is going to give up some real estate in their home for my artwork.
Yeah.
And so these opportunities that we have at these appearances and signings to meet folks, some who have collected my art. I mean, there's folks that have been collecting my art since 1987.
Wow.
We have.
It's amazing.
We've really done a good thing. I mean, I literally have sold hundreds of thousands of pieces of art over these last 31 years. So there's a lot of Kevin-John art out there, and likewise a lot of people that have collected it. And it's great to see not only those folks, but the people that are new to the Kevin-John brand that'll just find out about me and my art here over the next 6 months.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Kevin-John, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'm so excited for you. And I can't wait to see your Star Wars art and see you again when we're back in Florida. But I just thank you so much and sharing with us.
You.
And, you have an absolute wonderful time, as I know you will. And I know you're very good at posting things as well. So we are living vicariously through you on the West Coast here. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All the best to you, seriously and truly. Wonderful news to hear.
Thank you. And the girlfriend says hello to you and the family. She loves watching you guys online and all of the adventures with the kids with dancing and everything. So it's you guys are now friends and family, and we love you, and thank you so much for having me on again. We look forward to the next time we can all break bread over at the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, absolutely, and big hugs to both you guys too.
Thank you, dear.
All right, have a good rest of your evening. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Well, that is just such an amazing piece of news. You guys heard it. Star Wars art. I mean, what an honor. And Kevin-John is just, as I said, he's just an absolutely lovely human being. And I'm so glad that he could come on and we could chat. I want to just about end our program here, but I did tell you that we got a new addition to the family, and I wanted to do it at the end because it's been pretty emotional for me. And I first, though, want to give you guys a virtual hug and tell you how much I appreciated your support, because when I was at Walt Disney World at the end of June, beginning of July, our family went through very difficult time finding out that our beautiful golden retriever had cancer. We cut our trip short and everything, and hundreds of you guys reached out, and I wanted to kind of show you that not everything is unicorns and rainbows for me. I do try to live a good, solid life, and I'm very blessed to do so. But bad things happen to me too. And I wanted to share that with you. And I was just so grateful. And I said yesterday was National Dog Day, and I want to introduce you to the newest member of our family. And he's right here. This is our little guy. We got a little boy, and he is 9 weeks old. I wonder if I can turn him around because he's just happy to see me. And his name is Flynn, and it's a nod to Tangled, to the animation, which we absolutely adore. We love Disney's animation, Pixar's animation. And we also love the science fiction and Tron. So Flynn out of Tron. And also Fleur, our golden, who we lost, of course, had the FL beginning, and Flynn has the FL as well. So this is our newest little guy, Flynn. He is such a good boy. He plays with our little dash-out like crazy Morty, who's named after Mickey's nephew. He already knows how to sit and to follow me and go to the bathroom outside, which is really awesome. So anyways, I wanted to introduce him. He's definitely made a big impact on our life. And I wanted to just tell you, thank you so much. And there's a few of you I just want to say hello to: Jenny, Gina, and Susan, who I will tell you a really quick story, because you never know who you're going to meet out there. And I was in IKEA on Saturday, and there were so many people wearing Disney shirts. And I actually was in the restroom when I saw this beautiful, I'm going to just pass him over because he's a little wiggly. I saw this beautiful, it was blue and yellow and white, and it was a Snow White kind of shirt this one was wearing. And I just had to comment on it. We got to chatting, and she's a huge Disney fan, has gone on Disney cruises and so on. And then funnily enough, when I went to put my stuff into my vehicle, there she was again. And I have a license plate that has my positivelydisney.com information on it. And she wasn't stalking me, she admitted, but it was just kind of funny. She actually helped me load my my vehicle. So I just wanted to say hello to Susan, especially tonight, because as I said, I get to meet the most wonderful people, and very grateful to do so. And you are everywhere in the far reaches of the world. At any rate, I am going on to the 5 o'clock or the 8 o'clock in Eastern time frame. Thank you again for joining me, and we will see you again next week. Take care, be safe, you guys, and have a wonderful week. Bye for now.